Alright, my little math friends, we are moving further on into Chapter 8. Chapter 8 is all about geometry. Now we're going to be talking about 8.3. We're going to be making cross sections of a 3D figure. Okay, now this may be one of the strangest but yet easiest math videos that I've created so far this year, because in this particular lesson we are not going to be really doing any math calculations. Okay, what we're going to be doing is looking at some shapes and visualizing what would be created when we transform some of these shapes. So this is kind of more of abstract math. Alright, where we don't really have an exact number that we're calculating, we're kind of visualizing and thinking what the answer would be. Okay, so some of you may like that, some of you may not. It just depends on what your personality is. Alright, so let's talk about what is a cross-section of a 3D figure. Okay, a cross-section is the shape. Okay, and we're talking about a 2D shape that's going to be created. Let me fix that D. Alright, a 2D shape that will be created. Okay, so a cross section is the 2D shape that comes from cutting a 3D figure with an object like a knife or a sword or something like that. Okay, so it's the 2D shape that comes from cutting up a 3D figure. Alright, and as we're going through this lesson, I've printed off a guide for you guys of some different 2D shapes, so that way you'll be able to name them correctly when we go through here and start looking at some of these shapes that'll be created by cutting the 3D figures. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Let's take a look at what we got. Okay, here is our first 3D figure. We have a cone, and it's being cut by a piece of glass or something like that. It's being cut straight across, and we're interested in the shape here that it is creating. Okay, now right now looking at it, it looks like it's an oval. Okay, but really, if you visualized this cone being cut straight across, since it's a round cone, this would actually make a perfect circle. Okay, so that becomes more of the abstract part, where you really got to kind of think about what it is that's being created. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Here is a triangular prism. It is being sliced right here by a piece of glass or something. And the shape that happens, this one's pretty simple to see. We just have a regular triangle. Okay, so this is a different kind of lesson. Maybe you guys like this already. Okay, let's talk about when we start making some cuts that are a little bit different. Here's a cylinder. It's being cut diagonal. Okay, so the way it looks, you're thinking, oh, a cylinder is round, this must be a circle, but since it's being cut at a diagonal direction, it's going to make that circle stretch out, and this is where we're going to end up having our oval, or if you wanted to get fancy math term for oval, you could call it an ellipse if you want to get all fancy here. Okay, so this would actually make an oval and not a circle, even though it is perfectly round. It depends on how it's being cut. Alright, take a look at this cube here. If it is being sliced right here on the corner, and that's going to give us a rectangle. Alright, let's take a look at a few more examples. Okay, we have some stranger cuts going on here. Take a look at this rectangular pyramid, okay, because it's a rectangle at the bottom, it comes to a point at the top, so we have a rectangular pyramid. It's being sliced straight down right over here at the end, in the shape that we have, if we're looking at that guide, that is going to get us a trapezoid. Okay, this is where that shapes guide will help you out a little bit. Okay, here's a cone. We looked at a cone earlier that was sliced. This time the cone is being sliced up and down, and when that happens, it makes a perfect triangle. Okay, even though that this cone is round, it depends on how you slice it. We get a different shape that comes from that. Okay, so this is all about visualizing, trying to find out what would happen if you cut something. Okay, the cylinder also makes an interesting shape. If you cut the cylinder lengthwise like this instead of going across or diagonally. When you cut it lengthwise, you don't even get any type of shape that is round at all. It actually comes out to a rectangle, okay, which I always thought was a little strange. And take a look at this cube, the last example I have for you. This cube, this time it is being sliced right here on the end. It's like the corner got chopped off. Here it is over here. And when that happened, we ended up with a triangle. Okay, so we will work some more of these out in class when you guys come back. I am also going to have some 3D shapes for you to look at and for you to try and visualize what type of shape would be created when you cut it. Okay, so some of them, some of the worksheet's going to be on paper where you can see the shape being cut. The other part of the assignment is going to be actually looking at the 3D shape and trying to visualize what you think the shape would be if we were going to cut it. Okay, so I hope you found this interesting, and you're looking forward to the next time in class where we're going to work some more of this. We're going to take a break from calculations in math and we're going to move on to something like this. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in class.